We're live now. I'm gonna wait for my notification. If I get it, am I gonna get it? What up?
Is phone turned off? What's
You
happening?
sure you hit live? Are you sure you hit live?
I want to see if we can get some international representation tonight. We're going full screen. T, your phone's always the last to know.
Mine's
Why,
not. Mine
why is
doesn't
my
know
phone
either.
always last to know?
What's up, Eric? James, you can hear us okay, correct? Blink
Ah,
twice.
there they are.
Blink twice
There's
if you
my
can
board.
hear us. No, James said no sound unless he's effing with us.
No sound. No sound, or we're not saying anything.
Robert Cohen's got good audio, and Robert Cohen is the only one that matters tonight because he can hear us. This show is for you, Robert Cohen. All right, excellent.
I got
Eric Anderson,
sound.
get some sound too. Get you some sound. All right, I think we're ready to go.
What's up, boys?
Thank God it's Tuesday. Thank you for all being with us here in the basement. Podcast studios of First Amendment Sports. I'm Ken Marangolo. He's Kevin Ricca.
Hey, welcome, and welcome to this crew on the board, man. I love it. I love this crew, man. Bunch of good guys to talk about. Hashtag buzzed. I got to work on mine.
Yo, thank you so much for putting us out there. He's Tim Strachan.
Hey, HTTR to everybody. I was saying hi to everybody on the board. Sorry. Happy to be here.
Was that a southern accent you just
I don't
went with?
know. I don't know what I was doing.
Put the word out
I
now.
was saying hi to the board real quick, and
Huge
I didn't
push
hit
for
send.
5 tonight.
There, I hit send.
Hashtag push for 5. We come into the night 5 subscribers shy of our goal this week, which is 2,000 subscribers this week. If you haven't pushed the button and become a free subscriber for First Amendment Sports, please do that this evening. We got some fun stuff to talk about. We're gonna start Redskins right away because, as we've been saying for weeks, this continues to be just a grand time to be a Redskins fan. A good time to be alive as a Redskins fan. Amongst the last 20 years, again, only the third true reset for the Washington Redskins to have any true chance. We got Dan Snyder no matter what. Ron Rivera, coach-centered culture, everything kind of looking rosy. We're making it feel even rosier. But every day that goes by, I just feel like the lack of nonsense is like adding up to the presence of something again. Something
I like
that
the way
possible.
you put that. I like the way you put that. The lack of nonsense.
There's a lack of nonsense.
There's something to it. There's something to celebrate there.
We're all grown up, and we're all grown up. Feels like it.
So we got the lack of nonsense on one hand. On the other hand, we have. It seems like every day you just kind of wake up to feeling just a little bit better about things that were true a week ago, or 2 weeks ago and a month ago that we're just too down in the dumps about our Redskins to fully appreciate. And that is that we stand in position in the draft. Guys, we've had terrible teams across all sports, and we'll talk about that before the show's out. Some other years in the 2010s, Greg Martin, if you're on, you love this. I know how much you appreciate talking about DC sports teams from the 2010s. Guys, we've seen what bad looks like and what that nets you in the draft. You have to be bad at the right time to draft LeBron James number 1 overall. You have to be bad in the draft to be in position to get Peyton Manning. And we're not number 1 overall, but right now we're in the driver's seat for what's possibly one of the greatest football prospects, period, in a really long time.
It feels like 1B.
It doesn't. That hasn't happened for us in a long time.
You're never going to hear me say I'll be good with second, but
Yeah.
in this case, I'm good with second.
Until we're not. But at this point right now, second feels great, man. It feels great. I don't know what Cincinnati's going to do, but everyone keeps telling us it's a no-brainer. Done deal. Write it in stone.
Yep.
Joe's going back home. Well, then everything's great for us. Are we the biggest Tua fans ever right now?
Oh, yeah.
I'm not saying for us, obviously.
Yes, I am. I know Rob Cohen's saying the same thing.
Let's go Tua, baby.
I just want to hear what the offer is. I want to hear what the Tua offer is. We are in the Tua spot, but I'll tell you, if people buy into the Chase Young thing, there's the immediate effectiveness of NFL-ready stud pass rushers is off the charts compared to just about every other position. So if he's that good and he can be that materially, effective on day one, someone might come calling to draft him over Tua. I mean, he's 6'5", 255,
You're just getting
260.
straight crazy with it out of the chute right now. Yeah.
what is he
That's why
talking
we
about?
should take him for
Well,
what you just said.
well,
I'm just saying. No. For argument's sake, we're not getting into that point yet.
I would say we want to be the Tua team. We want people
right,
to
right,
but I think someone might trade up to take Chase.
Yeah, but I want him.
I do too.
Well, good for them. They're not. It's not gonna happen.
No, but it just is going to make things interesting. What if something ridiculous? I mean, something crazy could go down if Tua is the left-handed Drew Brees, which I keep hearing.
T,
over
if
and
you
over
get
again.
the number 5
I think there's
from
a
Miami
big question
and
mark on
wait,
his leg right
T,
now.
if you get 5 and 18, and you also get a second rounder to trade back to 5, do you do it?
No.
That's 2 first rounders and a second rounder when all we have is 1 first rounder right now.
No.
Because you think Chase is that good.
I think he's that good.
But full disclosure, T went to the same high school as Chase Young.
I did. Coached by.
Full disclosure, we all went to the same
my
conference
coach.
as Chase
That's
Young.
correct. That's also
and-
correct.
Yeah. Let's bring, bring Chase home.
I think,
Hashtag
you
bring
know,
Chase home.
I am certainly not. I've rarely been a. This is a once in a lifetime guy when it comes to the draft. I'm just not. I think the draft, the hyperbole going into drafts is ridiculous. The fact that Mel Kiper makes as much money as he does, although he
deserves every penny of it, T.
incredible
Yeah, come on,
research,
man.
but his over the topness sometimes. Every year it's a no miss.
Are
guy
you
on
telling
this
Mel
guy.
Kiper to get off your lawn right now?
Yeah, he
I don't
is.
say that. What I'm saying is I don't throw that around. And I think Chase Young is one of the guys I would say is you can't miss on this guy.
Yeah.
You can't. And then at that position,
Work better right
at
away
that
with Chase Young.
position, I mean, all you got to say is Lawrence Taylor. I mean,
I
he
understand.
could be
I
that
understand.
type of player.
I understand. If he is,
It's
then we have to
good-
have him. I understand. But if
That's not even the question yet. What we're talking about is the interesting facts that are going to unfold if the Tua thing hypes up, if the Chase
Yep.
thing gets crazy, if someone's like, yeah, McShay's right. He's the greatest of all time. Hey, are you guys sold on him? Do you definitely want him? It'd be fun to listen to all this stuff, regardless of what we decide to do. It's fun to be in that position. We're in a
Just-
position of strength.
officially, I'm a trade backer
Well,
guy.
why aren't people? But why aren't
Yeah,
people
but Trey
calling?
Backer's adorable,
who's
but
third?
not with 1 or 2.
Who's picking third?
It's Detroit.
Oof.
Why aren't don't you think Detroit's getting a lot more of those calls for Tua?
Sure.
Third, fourth, and
Hell
fifth
yeah.
position.
Of course. Everyone's going to get
If
him.
Tua is the second quarterback off the board and the Miami Dolphins want to have them, they'll pay up to 2 over 3 because someone can leapfrog them. I mean, we are in the catbird seat. If Joe Burrow is the number 1 no-brainer, he's off the board, they're already negotiating his contract kind of situation, then the Washington Redskins should at least be sitting at the table and just listening for the phone to ring just in case.
You have to.
I know.
Listen, you also have to draft Chase Young. You have to
Okay.
do both,
Okay.
I think.
I don't discount like that could be where I end up because I love the idea of it.
Also, it depends on the depth of the draft, at which positions of need, and all this. There's a million other factors, Ken. It's a very wide receiver-heavy draft. I'm
Yep.
not certain that we need more young wide receivers.
No.
Maybe one more.
But the number 1 cornerback
But-
in the draft is top 5
Yeah, I know.
eligible, and we could end up getting him.
Mm.
And in the bottom half of the draft, you still have options at offensive line. You still have options. There's a guy out of Alabama right now who's a 6'5" pass rusher that
He's a top 15.
Terrell Lewis.
he's-
You want to talk about another guy from our conference and how I can start to persuade Kevin over to my side? Hey, let's say we get the best cornerback in the draft and Terrell Lewis in the first round.
Yes. Listen.
He's 6'5" too. I'm just saying.
It doesn't
250.
matter if they're the same height.
And wait,
You know, I know a dude down at 7-Eleven, 6'5" as shit, Ken. He's totally 6'5".
and then the best tight end. Then the best tight end there is in the second round. I don't know. All 3 of those guys could bust out in the first year. Understood.
Oh, they all
100%.
could, of course. But who is the most guaranteed can't miss prospect?
Chase Young.
Yeah, you want to pass on that guy and have 3 turds, and then 5 years from now we're having that podcast? That's going to be a tough one to
It'll
swallow.
keep us in business.
Oh,
That's
man.
going to keep us in business.
Remember when they didn't want Chase Young from their conference, from their town, from their place, from home? Look at him now.
We all want him. We all want him.
Yeah,
And I hope, I can't wait for that show, and I know that it's going to happen. And but that's why I'm willing to go on the record and say right now, having never been in this position, in this regime, in the Dan Snyder era, we've never been in the catbird seat. We've always been trying to trade our way into the catbird seat. I'm not saying we shouldn't use a pick in that spot. And Chase Young is a compelling reason to use a pick.
Well, we've had Trent.
There's a lot of things you're
third.
not
We've had
saying.
No,
What
T.
are
I
you
said
saying?
T. I said I'm trading back. I think Miami can make an offer to us that I would be willing to take. Yes.
I think you're out of your damn mind to say that right now.
I like the first round talent. I love picking in the middle to the late part of the draft. We've done well. We're coming off a good draft. I like Kyle Smith and Ron Rivera working together to get the right guy for us. So I roll the dice. But they're huge, cojones-sized dice. Chase Young's the man. He's great right away. I get that. I get it.
I don't know if you do.
If the Washington Redskins are not one player away. We're not one player away.
Yeah, but you want to trade Chase Young for two guys that aren't anywhere
Three
near.
Three guys.
Ranked at the top of the heap. You want to get three guys that are two levels below Chase Young?
Best defensive back in the draft we'd get.
I think
number 5.
Listen, if we're going to the dance, I want to dance with the
That's
prettiest
fine.
girl.
That's
I don't
fine.
want to have 3 average girls on.
I don't think we're going to get
layaway.
average girls. I think you can get top talent. If you could pick wrong too, Chase Young minimizes your pick wrong variable.
I don't think so.
No. I'm saying because he's the
Strength
right
in
pick.
numbers is what you're going with.
No. I'm
But-
saying if you pick right, you do very well in that deal, and that's a big if.
Yeah, but right now you're already taking that deal. You don't even know who it could possibly be.
No, you're right.
That's crazy to me. That's the crazy part. You're like, somewhere out there's dreams.
I'm working my hand.
And Chase Young is staring you dead in
I'm
the face
playing
like,
people, everyone at the
I got
table.
your dream right here, bro.
I'm not short stacked, but I'm not chip leader. But I'm not afraid to dance a little bit.
Where do you see how big
Got a
his
lot of
hands
time to
are?
work.
Where do you see how big his hands are?
I understand.
He has the best hands of any D lineman coming out of the draft, they say, in the last decade.
I hope if we get him, I hope we play him at running back.
I'll just say I'm all in on Chase
Right now, today.
And when's the draft?
April.
Dude, we're doing a show that night, T.
Yes.
You should know. We're going to be live somewhere.
All I'm saying is Ken Marangolo is trading Chase Young away for people he doesn't know yet. I want that to be written down tonight. What's the date? Guys you don't know yet, or how deep the draft is at the positions of need that we have.
I'll let my position evolve, but I'll let you know that's my thinking right now.
All right.
I'm picking up resources. I don't think we're one player away, and
no one said that.
yeah, I know, no, but my
I
thought
think
process.
but generational talent
Fact check.
doesn't come along when we get the catbird seat all that often, and we're just gonna hand it off.
we just had it. We just traded up for a generational talent, and it worked out well for one season, and it was fun. One of the best memories I have of the Redskins in the last decade.
Our boy AGH just throws it out there. Kevin, fact check this. Ken, he says, we traded back for Ryan Kerrigan, and we all love him, but we missed out on J.J. Watt by trading back.
I'm not trading Ryan. I wasn't trading Ryan. I'm actually willing to trade back from where we are right now to pick up 3 starters. Yes, I am. I'm just saying.
And you
three,
don't even know who
three
they
starters.
are, and you have no idea who they are, or how or what type of draft this is. Or
I
where
know
it's
that.
heavy.
I know that number
Yeah,
5.
that's too much.
I know
gamble
exactly
for
who
me.
the number 1. It's a Duba or the.
Okuba, yeah.
I'll take. That's my number 1 guy, and then I'll take the best offensive lineman available,
As great as Ryan Kerrigan has been,
and then I'll take a tight end.
who would you rather have, him or J.J. Watt?
That's crazy, man.
Say it again, T.
Ryan Kerrigan or J.J. Watt?
Ryan
J.J.
Kerrigan.
Watt, obviously.
Ryan Kerrigan could
I
be
love
the all-time
Ryan
sack
Kerrigan.
leader.
He's great. But he's never for 1 second of his life been as explosive or game-changing as J.J. Watt.
Is Ryan Kerrigan playing for
Sorry.
us next year?
Ooh, that's a tough one, man.
Yes or no, T?
That's a damn hard question.
I say
Yes or
no.
Kevin, yes or no? Is
I
Ryan
wanted
Kerrigan
to say
playing for
yes,
us?
but I'm not doing it just to spite T. I'm going to agree with T and say no. It's a huge number, and all of a sudden, a couple
Don't
of injuries.
necessarily need him.
But I don't know if we don't need him, but that would be dependent upon what the previous
Factoring
conversation.
factoring in his
Just too
contract,
much
his
money
money,
and-
is all that stuff. You don't need him.
But
We
he's the
got-
perfect
we
Ron
got
Rivera
dogs
guy.
behind him.
It's almost like
You're going to get something for him.
he's such a good player for us.
He's been a great player. For
I'm
us.
going to say no. That's going to be one of the weird things we do to retool, and he's going to finish off his career for the Colts, going back home and doing what he has to do. And someone will be very happy to get a very productive guy, but I don't know if we're going to have him anymore, man. I'm going to say no.
I don't think he's back for us in week 1. And I thought, I mean, he could have gotten the record this year. It didn't work out. If he came back next year, obviously he'd get the record. Number 2, sack leader all time for the Washington Redskins. I know that we traded back for that, but he wasn't a Redskin to let us down. Trust me. As far as our first round draft picks, he more than performed. He was not J.J. Watt at all times, but he was pretty darn good for 16 games a year.
I know.
For the most part.
I agree.
For his whole career.
I agree. But how about this?
No one gets that.
And no man should be ashamed of being second sack master behind Dexter Manley. He just doesn't have as much sack as Dexter, and that's it. There's nothing wrong with that.
I think that was a losing battle on the way in.
Yeah. Well, he should not be ashamed.
Should never be ashamed of that. All right, so
we all have less sack than Dexter, and that's fair.
We talked about Kendall Fuller already on our WCAC show. Talked about the guys from DC that play in the game and are in the NFL. A guy like Kendall Fuller, his contract's up. Actually, Bashad Breeland's contract's up too. I think both of them are unrestricted free agents. So the Washington Redskins have a need at corner. I don't know that Kendall Fuller, to me, is starting to look the part of a safety.
Oh yeah.
And
they tried to move Breeland to safety. They both got moved.
Yeah, I would like to see that thought through. I can't imagine Kansas City isn't going to try to keep him, but he's 25 years old. They have to pay Pat Mahomes. They have to pay, I think, Kelsey. They got to pay some guys. They're going to lose some guys. Kendall Fuller is a worthy draft pick. He's developed. He's a legitimate NFL player, and we need defensive backs.
I loved it. I loved it. I love the thought behind it. I love that you wrote about it. I think it makes perfect sense. The reason why he was so attractive to them then was his rookie contract. They are in no place unless Kendall wants to settle for a little bit less, but they can't afford to pay him a premium. And I think the market rate for us is going to be a little steep, but at that position, if he's proven he can play both as well.
Yeah, you pay market.
Give me Kendall Fuller. He has a great relationship with a lot of guys on the team. Of course, we want a guy like that back.
Yep.
Bring him home.
That would be amazing.
Another
That got me so
WCAC
excited to
guy?
read that when I read the six-pack today. I was like,
Imagine.
I never even thought about this as a possibility, even though I watched the Super Bowl and saw how it ended. And I'm a huge local guy. I loved it, Ken. Bring Kendall Fuller home. Hashtag.
I think that needs to be a huge push. We need him to want to come back, and he's going to have to call around and ask some guys.
First Amendment Sports might have to get involved.
First Amendment Sports needs.
Well, listen. Also,
needs to be involved.
the new contract negotiator from Carolina, whose name I couldn't pick right now, but Rivera's guy he's going to have to get involved too. We ain't throwing $80 billion at Kendall Fuller just to bring him back home. But I think, if push comes to shove, we could be players in that market.
I would like to vote no on Olsen, but not for any bad reason.
Yeah, that's been a big topic on the board.
Or for any kind of, I'm not being malicious or not. We need a tight end. We need 2 tight ends this offseason, I think. Redskins need to sign 2 tight ends. I personally, I think he should retire because I think he looked like physically, he kind of would look like retired in about week 1 or week 2 this past season. But he's just smarter than everybody. And that's how guys like that get open and they get huge catches, and he was able to survive, I guess. Tight ends, man. Tight ends are they are getting decimated. They are on the verge of extinction. The best tight ends on a constant basis.
There'll be new ones.
Yeah, but they get killed, man. A 35-year-old one.
That's a rough position.
Yes,
man.
and they're so. I don't know. I'd be looking for someone a little bit fresher. That's why I do want to figure out a way. And if it's not trading Chase Young, so be it. But we have ways to generate a second-round pick somehow, some way, because I do think that there's some tight end prospects, and I think we need to invest that highly in a tight end.
We need a great one. Ron Rivera had plenty of success when Greg Olsen was in his prime down there in Carolina, functioning, healthy. That was a big part of the offense. I'm not going one way or another. I don't care, because I think if we got him, it's going to be for a minimal amount of money. He'd be a great locker room guy, and I know that doesn't mean that's just whatever. Everyone can say that, but if we're truly changing this culture and teaching it, and teaching men how to fish as opposed to feeding them, then I think that's something that we could look at and say that's worth it. And if you give us any production,
but then I think you're rolling with a sprinkle for sure.
No, I think we need another guy. I think
We need him, but
this
he's number
this
3.
offense, they
2 or 3.
Listen, I'm telling you, Scott Turner is going to have the
You
ability.
hope
They
he's
say
our 2 or 3.
they say Scott Turner has the best ability of all these young offensive guys to mold his offense to his personnel. He's not coming in there with a personnel as he's trying to squeeze fit pegs and circle spots. That was a horrible rendition of how that line is usually said. But I think everyone is following me. I think everyone's following where I am. We need a tight end to be able to run the ball, a badass. So if you have an old school badass with a new school badass, I'd be okay with that. If we did get a second-round pick and take a guy. You know what I'm saying?
We need,
or
we need
spend money on the spot.
a top pass catching
We need
option
it.
right away.
We need it for a young quarterback. We need it.
But then there's guys, the blocking tight end, because no one appreciates them. They're out there. Those are the guys that are available. Your third and your fourth tight ends. There's Logan Paulsons and Derek Carriers and those kinds of guys. Genches. This guy is going to be huge for us, and we're on the ground floor of it. Gacious. He's doing great things.
Aloysius. Benches.
Greg Martin wants to talk about offensive line. We do need to know. Well, we can't forget the tight end, but okay. Does Trent Williams play in Week 1? Question: Yes or no?
Oh man, I'm gonna step right up here and say, after a meeting with Ron Rivera, man to man, this 31-year-old will be in his 32 season.
Yep.
Fresh, healthy, ready to go. No Bruce Allen. He could come back into that locker room as he was already the guy, as the hero, a folk hero. Yes, I'm all in.
Does Trent play T?
Week one.
It's an odd night, Kevin.
You're agreeing?
I agree. He's in Week 1.
I think Trent Williams is our starting left tackle in Week 1 this year. I really do.
Did we just have a Trent Williams agreement?
Yeah.
Forget about us all disagreeing or individuals. We've never agreed on Trent Williams about pretty much anything for a while.
Well, you always wanted to move him inside, which I thought was the wrong decision.
Bitch.
Wrong decision.
You put that plaid jacket on and make a liar out of yourself.
We don't have consensus on the board, but it's pretty darn close.
No, we shouldn't. We shouldn't have consensus on the board. We're in a huge holding pattern with this guy that makes no sense to any of us as football fans, especially Skins. When the premier left tackle in the game arguably just bows out and has all this shit go down, who could know anything? I'm all in Week 1. We need him.
I think he's our starting left tackle in Week 1. I know we just talked about tight end. We're talking about offensive line. We haven't said the words Jordan Reed. I think he has one play left in him. One play. And I'd be willing to save
Victory formation?
I think he gives us one play. Because he's like, all he needs is just a whiff across the face mask, and he's concussed at this point.
Is that a concussion joke?
No, he should never play again. He should retire immediately. But I think he's going to stick. And if he comes back, he's got one play. We just need to save that one play.
He is.
It's going to be like Lucas.
He should be so far gone.
It'll be like Lucas.
Listen. To anyone listening, I want you to know I have nothing to do with this whole segment of
it's
Lucas.
It's not a concussion joke.
And, well...
It's reporting
it's
live.
Like the commercial when the guy
Jordan
gets
Reed.
split in half.
Yeah. Jordan Reed and Alex Smith have no business ever playing football again. And yet, God knows they both want to, and they both probably could try to.
Yeah.
That's the best I can say. That's the best thing I can say about it. I don't think either of them should. Therefore, both of them probably will.
If either of them plays, I would be shocked.
I will be shocked.
Yeah.
I will be more shocked if Jordan Reed plays than if Alex Smith plays.
Really?
Yes. I think Jordan Reed is
Ron
for sure
Rivera's
done.
holding that door open for him.
Oh, yeah. Oh, and
very clear.
Alex Smith has his one good leg right on through the doorway.
His strong leg?
His strong leg. He's got one leg to rule the door.
With my strong leg.
Oh, I'm telling you right now, Jordan Reed should never play again. He should be wearing a helmet all the time, no matter what.
I see you eyeing the first sack.
2 pillows at night.
Was that a scary movie, too?
But Alex Smith is playing football again, everybody.
Oh,
I heard they're gonna bring Theismann out and teach him how to back up backwards.
Once again.
Straight back. Straight back drop.
But Joe Theismann's 95 years old. He does commercials on TV about shrinking your prostate. And
Was he the last one you saw straight back drop?
I don't know, but...
The fact that he does it with the full Nelson has always freaked me out. Who pays $19.95 for that?
He's a reverse. He's going to be a reverse mortgage commercial any day now. Any day now. I'm surprised he probably already just blitzed right through that whole stage of his commercial years.
If he's riding an upstairs roller coaster over a thing of steps, then that's the winner.
So, Greg, here's the thing about Alex Smith. This is why I don't understand your perspective. He's getting paid anyways. He's on the books for $21 million, no matter what. He rolls out of bed, he gets that money. We can't cut him. We can't trade. No one's trading for him, so we can't. No one's trading for a one-legged quarterback for $21 million. If there's a market that exists, flash the number on the screen, guys. Flash the number on the screen. If anyone out there is looking for a one-legged quarterback, call this hotline that you see right here. Otherwise, he either plays for us in the most miraculous Disney story that you've ever seen that will be made movies out of, or he just won't ever play again, which he shouldn't. Of those two scenarios, the one that's more likely is definitely where he plays again for us in week 1.
Yeah. He could go speed bag on Snyder's crotch for
And
like
he gets
10 minutes.
$21 million.
And he gets $21 million. And then I think based on your article, I think we
Yes.
call that Snydering.
He's getting Snydered.
Yes. I think when we grew up, it was take a bow or Bangkok.
I'm out of this conversation right now.
But like, that a-hole kid that would just hit you right in the nuts
Yes,
at
and then look
school.
at you and wonder why you're mad at him. Like, wait,
Well,
are you seriously?
I'd
wondering
like
why
to
I'm
start
mad?
a trend that I hate that kids should. I don't know if they still do that. I imagine they don't. But if they did, that should be Snydering from now
That's
on.
getting Snyder.
Because
Okay, fair enough.
that's happened to us for 20 years. So.
Oh my God.
Well, he wrote about it. You heard about it. Sorry.
Alex Smith, we'll see. We'll see. But the part about Haskins, because I like Haskins, and a lot of Redskins fans like Haskins. I think one question I always respond with the quarterback question. I always respond with the question: do you like Dwayne Haskins so much that you wouldn't consider another path, any other options at quarterback or 2 or 3 year plan? And I don't think that's the case. But I think that if Alex Smith were to be healthy enough to compete in preseason, as ludicrous as that sounds, and we have to all be honest, it's a ludicrous situation. If that's ludicrous, I mean, it's crazy. Alex Smith is already on the team. We're not going out there and trying to find somebody to take Dwayne Haskins' job. We're not going out there and try to pay someone top dollar to come in and and keep our guy from growing. I don't think that's the worst possible situation. I think that that would be not Snydering Haskins.
No, I think that Ron Rivera has his number one job responsibility is taking care of this franchise quarterback.
Yep.
And that doesn't mean he has to start him and get behind him and just be giddy about it and have just put on.
Go get him, sweetie.
Right. Because I'm supposed to. He's going to do the right thing by him. And I think that's going to take experience, time, and evolution between the two. And you have to have a veteran ready to play. Or else what are we going to do? Why would we show up next year?
Otherwise, guys with
I'm not
dogs
saying
and little
over
purse bags
Haskins.
show up.
Not over Haskins. He needs to be developed properly. We got this guy for 4 more years. Rivera and him are attached at the hip. All he wants to do is do right by him, and I'm good with that. So everyone can read into it however they want, and it doesn't mean that he doesn't think he's great.
Rivera is out there actively looking for Haskins' replacement.
No. A better way.
I'm talking to Kim.
Right, yeah. But I'm just saying, I'm agreeing with you, but a better way to have him reach his potential. Mm-hmm. A better path. The best path.
Well, you got to get somebody who's one capable.
I just spit all over everything.
Ew.
Sorry. It was by accident.
A guy who's capable, a
Clean
guy
up
who
on
knows what
microphones
he's doing,
too.
a guy
Sure.
who's savvy, a guy who's a veteran, doesn't need the reps, who can be counted on when he absolutely needs to be counted on, but not necessarily a guy who you are hoping is going to take over Haskins'
So
spot.
Colt McCoy for another decade. That's what we're kind of thinking of, yeah.
And yes, James, I can really see a doctor okaying Alex to play. Are you kidding me? There's a doctor out there. There's always a doctor for something, and they're gonna find the right one. He's gonna get paid a ton of money by Dan Snyder. Bridgewater, would you guys like Bridgewater? There's clamoring for Bridgewater out there.
I hear that, but that's way too good.
I think he's going to be too much.
I think that's a
money.
detriment
That's a huge detriment to
to
Haskins.
Dwayne Haskins.
I
Oh,
think-
yeah.
Well, I think a Bridgewater
That's going a whole
is,
new direction.
I think Bridgewater's a starter in this league.
Sure.
Yes, he's going to be paid
Sure.
to start next
I
year.
don't think that's what and he's going to be paid to do that next year. I don't think we go after him and pay him that money.
Yeah, we need a guy that's more ready to, on the downside, that's more ready to help out the young buck than actually go get his right now. 'Cause
Another
I think
great-
Teddy's starving for 5 years of starting.
Another great reason for Alex Smith.
We need. I
Right.
know. This is going to be an old school throw out here, but like you need a Sean Hill type backup quarterback, veteran guy who's not necessarily, starting potential. Certainly isn't going to be starting money, but is going to be the right fit for. I mean, I think
There's
that's
not
even
many
better
of those
than
guys
Colt
around.
McCoy.
He was great at it.
But
He was great at that role.
He took my best friend Andrew Merkel's physics class at University of Maryland. He was a professor at UMD. And Sean Hill, you talk about how Sean Hill's smarts. I'll be honest, they manifested themselves in a way that wasn't conducive necessarily to inside the classroom. But he
Manifest, conducive.
What is
I
Am I
think-
Sean Hilling?
I don't know how often he actually went to class, but the Turbans were very good that year behind our main man Sean, and I think that there was some physics involved in that apparently because you get some physics credit for that.
He's the greatest thing he ever did. That pin route against NC State to win the ACC sent me, after a 10-day family vacation to the Bahamas, I flew right back into Miami, joined this man at the Fontainebleau Hotel when he was working for Maryland Terrapins Radio, and stayed for another 5 days.
That's great.
Yeah, flight didn't change. Sean Hill
I only
got me that
remember
vacation.
like
Love him for it.
half of it.
Yeah, best Bloody Mary I ever had in my life. The beach bar at the Fontainebleau Hotel, holy crap. And he had like 7 of us in his hotel room.
That's pretty sweet.
Yeah, New Year's Eve party bus with
We
Ricky
got
Hahn
a free.
involved.
We got a free bus.
That works out nicely.
Well, we got a free bus. That was your
Yeah.
payment for a season of Maryland radio.
You're
but
welcome.
It was awesome. It was an awesome New Year's Eve gift for me. Yeah. Thank you, Sean Hill. Love you, buddy. Unfortunately, Sean Hill was the starting quarterback in 2014 against us for their smelly mayonnaise mustache Jeff Fisher's Rams, who beat us 24-0 after he trolled us with all the RG3 draft picks. But
That's a
I
good
digress.
segue into because we will close things out tonight by taking another run and Greg, we're going to do this in a way that you're going to appreciate a whole lot more because it's going to be a lot easier to go through
Don't
these
worry,
DC
guys.
teams of the mid 2010s.
I'm fully unprepared for this segment of the show.
We last left off with the 2012 Redskins. They had just won the NFC East. So they went on a 7-0 streak behind RG3. Was the Rookie of the Year. Mike Shanahan was riding high, building his Hall of Fame case as an NFL head coach. Let's just start there. The 2013 Washington Redskins under Coach Mike Shanahan. They were 3-13.
3-13. Are you going to read it off the paper?
I don't know.
Let's have this
Yes,
conversation.
I need to remember
Come
this.
on.
I
Come
need
on.
to remember this. They were fourth that year in the NFC East. Did not make the playoffs. Arakpo, Trent Williams,
3-13
Alfred
didn't
Morris.
make the playoffs? Is that what it was?
That's right. It was a tough year.
disgusting.
Tough year. But let me start out the way I said I was going to start out because we'll make this
That was Operation Week 1 year, right?
all in for week one.
All in.
Yeah, I love
all
how you
in-
call it something different every time. Like, that was full start. Throttle down and bear down, boys.
It was
Right?
3
Throw
rights
week
and
one
a
out.
left.
That was full steam ahead week, correct?
Well, you know what? Might as well. It was that ridiculous. It was that ridiculous.
We
It
drafted
was
Chris
such a
Thompson that
circus
year.
That summer.
Drafted Jordan Reed. He still could speak. We had
Come
the second
on.
worst special
Another
teams unit.
concussion joke? You sick
No.
bastard. Is
I,
he concussed?
I've taken a few on the noggin over the years. The 2013 Washington Nationals guys.
Smatterings, or-
Let me ask you this: who was the best coach in town that year? We already know Mike Shanahan was one of them. Best coach in town in 2013 season, DC sports. Kev,
Davy Johnson's final year of baseball.
Who's the Cavs?
And I
coach?
know it was tough.
Adam
Because
Oates.
it's not Adam Oates. It's not the Red Lobster going 3-13.
No, it's not Randy
It's
Whitman.
not Randy Whitman. So I went with Davy Johnson because his post-game theatrics in the pressers were amazing. He called, what's his name from the Cubs? Who's the Cubs manager?
Madden?
He called Joe Madden a weird wuss. Well, that guy, he's like a weird wuss. And I
the
loved every
truth.
second of it. I loved it. I loved it. He was like, that weird. He's a weirdo, man. He's a weird wuss. I was like, he's kind of a
He's
weird.
the greatest.
Yeah, he's weird.
He was the best coach in town that year, but that was not the best team of that season. Washington Capitals were first. James Rainey, first in the Southeast, third in the conference that year, although we did lose in 7.
Strike shortened season, correct?
We were the shiny.
That was a lockout shortened season.
Lockout.
we were
They
like
played
we were
48
like
games
shiny
instead of
keys
82.
throughout
Yep.
the entire regular season, and then when the playoffs came, they just
Well,
dimmed
yeah,
down quick.
we had the MVP that year.
I thought one of the most interesting parts of that season, because we talk about Washington, D.C. teams being in the catbird seat to draft generational talents. We drafted Philip Forsberg, the Caps did, and we traded him for Martin Erat. Philip Forsberg is.
You said that last week.
I know. It was a big deal. Kind of a big deal. I have it written down here. Kind of a big deal. The 2012-2013 Wizards, pretty terrible.
Yeah.
I'm not even going to go there.
29 and something, I believe.
29 and 53.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oof.
Hey, guys,
Yeah.
things got better in 2014
Couldn't
for
get
the Washington
worse,
Redskins.
Really.
Because they won one more game than they did the previous year.
Jay Gruden just up in the ante for old Red Lobster.
New coach.
He had
Jay
him on the right
Gruden.
direction, though.
Who was the best coach that year in D.C.?
I
got it.
I'm gonna go with Randy Whitman, buddy. Sorry.
He edges out Matt Williams.
Ooh.
Yeah, Matt Williams' personality lost him that in the vote. It's always a popularity contest when you
Yeah.
vote. Pretend it's not. You're lying to yourself. Sometimes. It was
Yeah.
definitely Randy Whitman. He turned those guys around. I went from 29 wins to 44 wins, I believe.
Six
and they
games
won.
over.
And they won a playoff series.
Lost in the conference semis.
Yeah.
Made it all the way to the semis.
Pacers. We got Pacers.
After a
we got Pacers.
29-win season.
Yeah, went to 44,
wow.
man. Randy Whitman. I mean, like, super boring guy to hang out with, I would imagine. He's so defensive, and, you know, he worked.
I'd have a beer with him.
He wore pleated fronts. Well, of course he would. You guys could smash pleats and see what happens.
What goes on in your head?
Don't
I
smash
don't know,
pleats.
and I think I have to apologize. There's so many people.
Especially Randy.
Yeah,
That's
especially
Mostly.
Randy.
Mostly.
Caps missed the playoffs, 2013-2014 Caps. That was a disappointment. They didn't do that very often. It was, James, the best year for the Wizards. Second seed, or second place team in the Southeast. I believe they were a 5 seed in the Eastern Conference before making it to the finals.
And won against the Bulls on the road as a
That's
5
right.
seed. When
Wall and Beal
John Wall really, really became somebody that I thought.
stood on the table, I
Yes,
believe.
because he signed the extension. I think it was 5 years, $80 million.
Yep.
He didn't even want to test the
was the
waters. He was
pinnacle.
loyal to a garbage franchise when no one had done that
Yeah.
as a superstar, first pick. I mean, teach me how to Dougie. Fine, everyone gave him a hard time. He was becoming a man. He could have explored anywhere. And he
That
said,
was
I want to
his
stay right
pinnacle.
here. And when he jumped on that score table, I was going nuts in the living room. I'll never forget
Yeah.
that.
Yeah. No,
He
that
showed
was-
loyalty, and I was like, man, we got a point guard like this, a tough ass. I mean, he was.
There hasn't been a Wizards player on the mountain of success higher than Wes Unseld at that moment in time. He was the closest.
He was
is what I'm
saying, "This
saying.
is my city." and
That's
the
right.
City
You're
was
just going to
showing him
overlook
love.
Tom Gugliotta.
I know.
Just
And look
run
where we
right
are
past
now.
Minute
the
ball,
Goog-
Muggsy
the
Bogues.
Googster.
And look where we are now.
Doug Overton and Mitchell Butler are just rolling in their graves right now. Yeah, I think they're actually doing very well. Both.
Your
of
boy Yorgi.
them. Best player in DC that year, guys? Any guesses?
Yeah, I'm going with John Wall. All-star, stayed home. We already talked about that.
Yeah,
He won the dunk contest
Ovi
that year.
probably
He
gave
won
him
the
a dunk
dunk
con-
contest that year.
Ovi probably gave
Yeah.
him a push. but-
Ovechkin is just a solid pick almost any year. I was.
Of course. He was
I-
the year before, man. He was the MVP the
yeah,
year before.
Was the MVP the year before.
And I gave him to him the year before. That was my pick. But I don't know
Okay.
if we talked about that.
I think you would have
But
to say
John
it's
Wall
Wall.
this year went nuts, man. Man, a winning team in DC. We won a playoff series as the fans of the Wizards.
Yeah.
Ryan Grant had a pretty good season for Gruden that year, his rookie year. But I think you're probably right though.
Trent Williams would be the only other guess.
Trent Williams.
Yeah, those 2 years I went Ovi, John Wall. And you know what? I think we need to give John Wall some more love because he came back to town again with his
Yep.
next contract. And you know he's been hurt and people are complaining, but he showed us a lot of loyalty, man. Let's give him a chance.
And
Show it back. Reciprocation.
just to show that things that actually did happen, we were not going to ignore and say didn't happen. And Bryce Harper blew up in the playoffs that year. We lost to the Giants in the first round in 4 games, but he hit 3 home runs. He was all of our offense.
Rendon had a better batting average.
Rendon had a better batting average.
Rendon was the guy, but Bryce Harper hit the clutch home run. Did it go
But he
into
had
McCovey?
three-
I don't think it went to McCovey's Cove, but it was down the line. It was a huge shot.
Yep. He kept us in games.
He sacked up
It
as
was
a young man.
huge series.
He did.
And when you show up in big time playoff series,
It was
Gotta-
like Dexter Manley style.
got to tip your hat to that. And I won't forget that. Bryce, Merry Merry February to you, sir.
Garcon may have had a good year, but you can't. No Redskin at that point isn't in this.
Garcon was in the top 100 players in the league that year, in the NFL's top 100.
Yeah.
Barely. I mean, he was. I want
Good
to
job,
say.
Garcon.
Well, I'm just saying that's a
Cheers.
good list.
Cheers,
to be on.
Pierre.
Hey, Redskins don't get a lot of guys on that list. In any given year,
It's true.
two, maybe 3 guys.
But
And there's not a lot.
in comparison to the guys we were just talking about, certainly Wall, and I agree with Kevin, that year takes the.
But I love that you said when he jumped on the table. That was like something.
Yeah.
That was. We were all like, all right.
That was my highlight.
That was mine too.
Yep.
And I didn't even know it was.
everybody's.
The low lights we didn't talk about. We don't really have to, but I'm going to say one more time, mustache Jeff Fisher doing that.
That's
really,
mine.
That was terrible.
I'll take
And then
that
the year before, I also can tell you what yours was, and yours was the Kansas City game with the Red Lobster. When it was snowing up and down the East Coast, and there was 14 people at the stadium.
I was
and
in.
you were
I was one of them.
I know.
I was in that
I was
stadium.
bartending, and we had the Giants, the Eagles, the Redskins, and someone else. There was 4 Eastern cities on our 4 TVs above the bar, and there was snow falling everywhere.
Yeah.
And there's 3 games where people were just into it. There was a game, and then there was ours. And it was horrible.
Was that 45-0?
We had the worst special teams unit, the second worst special teams unit in the history of the gauge of special teams. Like
That's correct.
whatever.
Ever since they started keeping the stat.
Did they have Dante Hall, the X Factor?
The joystick. Yep.
And I just remember we would kick off, and it was like, it was like Tecmo. It was like, or 10-yard fight. It was like,
Tecmo's pretty good.
There's nothing you could do about it. Like, oh, they're scoring again. Thank God no one's there. What the hell?
Yeah.
That was the low. That's when we all went, well, we're going to fire a 2-time Super Bowl winner. Now what? Shit.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, the tailgate, by the way, that day was impressive. We were tarped up, Hobotown down. Beirut started sharp 9 a.m. We went through more than one keg before we went into that stadium. Everyone that tailgated that day didn't make it past halftime, but some of us did. And it was by far a low. I always point to that game. I mean, there was a couple moments since that game, but I always point to that game as my rock bottom for
Me too.
what the Redskins were all about.
Me too.
Over that period of time, and I feel like I've gotten back to that spot. It's a very bad place to be a couple of times since.
We went.
Yeah.
Mark Sanchez.
Yeah, but I had to be there. I had to feel it. You
Me
know,
too.
you have to
Should have brought my son.
take your lumps.
You guys gonna be okay?
No.
Jesus.
No. Those 2 hurt real bad.
Oh yeah.
They were like you couldn't shower it off. It didn't leave when the hangover.
Mark Sanchez started a game for us when we actually had a chance at the playoffs. That just let that one sink in, and that's just the icing on the top of a 29 million layer cake.
And just for the guys watching,
That
just
year?
so you know, and I don't know if we've ever talked about this.
Since. I'm talking about Lowe's.
Since.
Lowe's. I'm
Okay.
talking about Lowe's.
Mark Sanchez played pound ball. My uncle was the coach in Mission Viejo. He went to high school with my cousin. He was just not the guy we wanted. I promise. You guys already know. There was plenty, but the background story makes it even worse. And not a bad person, just not the guy
Not
you
the
want.
guy. Not the
guy you
No.
want
Inspired zero
when
people.
you bring your 8-year-old to his first Redskins game.
When you're playing against a team
Trust me.
that, and you're thinking, okay, well, there's no way. I mean, the Giants suck out loud. They were worse than the Cleveland Browns over like a 3-year period, and that was right in the middle of it. They're trying to lose. We're trying to win. And all of a sudden, you look at the scoreboard, and we're down like 41-0 or something crazy. And you're like, wait, how in the hell did this just happen?
He signed a non-compete clause and brought a tiny dog in a bag.
Brought a tiny dog in a bag and a
Brought
scarf.
a tiny dog in a bag
There was
with
a
a
scarf
scarf
involved.
and just
He was wearing a scarf in the tunnel before the game. That just, I mean, what else can you say?
Yeah.
What else can you say?
it
And
doesn't
that,
scream leadership in these parts.
no, there was a little tiny dog wearing a scarf on the right on our
Matching.
memories.
Matching scarf.
Matching scarf.
What-
Well,
what did
Yeah,
the little
2017 Giants game was pretty low, but
Yeah.
that was.
dog? Oh, hold on.
but
Hold
that
on.
was in order
Hold on.
to almost possibly.
Can I
What?
just say this? Per pass attempt that day, Eli Manning and Kirk Cousins. Per pass attempt. And I think Curtis Painter also. Curtis Painter was a part of it. They went 31 for 81. Per pass attempt, they averaged less than 4 yards,
Oh
I
my
believe.
God.
It was like historically bad day. I think Cousins was 19 of 49. 19 of 49. Eli was like 11 of 26. It was the grossest experience. You're right. I totally forgot.
that
That's-
was a different
AGH
Giants game.
That's the-
That's not the
AGH
one we went to.
no,
AGH.
it's a different one.
Yeah,
AGH
17.
brought it
That's
up.
the one where we We win, we're in.
Oh, no, that would have
Yeah.
been 13.
We win, we're in. No,
This
no.
was 2017 and 2018. We went to the 2018 Giants game at Sanchez.
Different bad Kirk
Right.
Cousins Giants. Different bad Kirk Cousins Giants.
2017 was
this
the
is
when
before
we
he
were
became
in.
the real guy.
Yes.
Sorry.
When they were they handed it off to their 8th string running
This
back.
one
It was a
didn't
low.
this one didn't
Yeah.
matter.
It was a
that was
low,
a terrible one too.
But
Right.
it was a good low
Oh,
because at
God.
least you were in contention of getting into the playoffs.
When Mark Sanchez started that game, we were in contention for the playoffs.
Oh my God.
That's a fact.
When that dog was purchased and flown from somewhere out west to Dulles or National or BWI.
I don't wish any ill will to the dog.
If that's why Vegas is better than us. They're privy to information like this. Sanchez is starting tomorrow, and his dog is riding first.
His dog has a scarf. His dog has a scarf.
I will Snyder that dog, no problem. I'll have no problem Snydering that dog, and I love dogs.
That's good use of the word Snyder.
But Sanchez did give something to all NFL and football fans that will always be giving forever, and that's the butt fumble.
I know. Then he started for us with the playoff chance, and I brought my son. So, was there something else we were going to talk about right before we were done talking about this shit?
Well, I thought we were talking about highs, and then we got into the lows.
We had to talk a little about the lows. I just think it goes to show. So at this point in time, because I want to keep there's a slight storytelling to it because the decade started for the most part badly because Redskins stirred the Kool-Aid more than any other team in the city, and that's always been the case. And people argue whether that's the case now, or whatever. It's always been a Redskins town, and the Redskins were in the middle of not being good for a long period of time when the 2010s started, and they stayed mired in it for the most part well into the 2010s. And the idea that when we first started our show was in 2015. So the next week we'll do 2015, 16, 17. So now we're going to be talking about the teams that we spent a lot of time in the basement talking about. And again, talking about being a sports town that loves its teams that to this point in time doesn't have a title to show for it. And the star power is
Hasn't
fleeting.
had a title in a long time to show for it. Yeah.
Well, right. Well, yeah. I mean, at this point, the last title was 91 for
Technically,
I like to
Jerry,
say
right?
92.
92. Yeah, that's fair. 92. Winter 92, January 92.
Exactly. We've had this.
91 season.
Right.
The 91 Redskins, the 92 Super Bowl, 91-92 Washington Redskins. They were the last title team. And so we talked about having pretty good star power because we had Alex Ovechkin, and we still, crazily enough, we still have. We had Alex Ovechkin, we had Bryce Harper, we had John Wall, and Strasburg. We had coaches, but we couldn't put it together. And we were getting like the sad tables on TV, like when there'd be championship games, where they'd be talking about what teams hadn't been in the title. You know, it'd be like San Diego here, a little Cleveland there. Then the Cleveland Cavaliers won.
Oh, that was hurt. That hurt.
Yes.
That hurt.
So we're getting there. We're
hurt.
getting to that point of our lives.
That hurt.
LeBron.
That
We're
hurt.
bringing you that raw pain next week when we bring 2015, 2016, and 2017 next week. Talking about the 2010s, and we very much appreciate your help because when we're finished this in 2 weeks, we got another whole thing coming. And any suggestions, we are certainly all ears. But we're going to tell the story the right way. We're not going to avoid the bad stuff, and you better believe you're going to hear about the good stuff coming. Greg Martin, I believe you know all about what happened in a little certain series against a cheating franchise, but that's a whole different story for another day. Oh, and the flag football draft, we'll get there one day. We'll get there. Guys, I had fun. I want to talk about 2015 and 2016 next week a lot.
I think I'll be here.
I just wanted to say it was week 17 of 2013 that Kirk Cousins, Eli, and Curtis Painter set the game of football back, the passing game of football. They just shitted on the forward pass that day. 1 touchdown, 4 interceptions, 31 for 81, 4 yards per attempt.
Ugh.
It's the worst thing that's ever happened. It's probably been
Dude,
deleted.
I was at the 7-7 Redskins-Giants tie in 1997 where they set the record in punts.
In Gus We Trust.
In Gus We Trust.
Yeah.
We should do a
The old
podcast.
headbutt? That's a headbutt.
Nothing
That was
but
the headbutt
Redskins
day,
Giants.
right?
It was a effing headbutt game. It was
Yeah.
Hostetler.
You might have to have 2 parts.
It was Michael
for
Westbrook taking off his helmet to take us out of field goal range when we could have won the game.
Both those things happened that day?
Both those things happened the same day. We set the record in punts.
I would have lost that bet.
You want to know how many punts you would see in overtime of a game? More than you'd seen probably in most
I'd like
regular
to punt
season games.
that whole idea you just had because I don't want to have an entire
God.
podcast of negativity.
That gets me fired up.
Punt team.
But then you got Joe Gibbs versus Parcells, so there's a solid foundation of greatness in the Redskins-Giants series. There's also a lot of punting in recent years.
I'd like to go back to Bavaro and
Who did here?
yes,
Phil Simms.
yes, yes. Mark.
All right, we got some ideas coming in. We'll work with these.
I like it.
We'll work with them.
Eric, don't worry. There's not a Me Too moment happening here. Me and Benjamin are cool. Just resting my hand on his cup. That's all it is. His honey cup. That's where he puts his honey. Until next Tuesday
Stay
night.
away from my honey cup, bro.
He's Tim Strachan.
I appreciate it. HTTR to the board, guys. Thanks so much.
He's Kevin Ricka.
You guys make it awesome. I put my stuff down here tonight because I always miss out. I wait for them to tell me. I love hearing it come out live, or at least watching it.
Yeah,
come
watching
out live.
it, but
exactly.
you have,
Whatever it is, it's fun as hell to talk this noise with
your
you.
internal monologue.
Love your stuff. Love that you guys love it like we do. Awesome.
I'm Ken Marangolo, and until next Tuesday night, this is Thank God It's Tuesday. Appreciate you guys. We're still live, guys. Still live.
Still
Still
live.
live.
Have a great week,
Still
everybody.
live.
All you guys.
Nasta.
Nice stop.
It's a great group, man.